Does the Torah have the impact on your life that Yah has intended? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah. Today we begin Torah portion Yitro, very much important to us as it contains the giving of the 10 words or the 10 commandments. Why is this Torah portion named after Yitro, also known as Jethro, Reuel, Hobab? Some 7 different names are attributed to this man. Why is this Torah portion, the one that contains the giving of the 10 commandments, named after a priest of Midian? It's a good question. Let's see if we can find an answer. In the Kehot Chumash, this is a Torah commentary based on the writings of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. It says, and I quote, "Before God gives the Torah to the Jewish people, one more event must occur. And according to the Zohar, had it not occurred, God could not have given the Torah. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, prince and high priest of Midian, must convert and join the Jewish people." Unquote. Now, why even go here? Well, it contains an element of a thought that I want to pursue here. I'm not disapproving the commentary. I find it helpful, whether you agree or not with that commentary. It's an interesting provocation of an idea. Let's follow this out. In the ancient pagan world, it was perceived that worshiping nature was more available than approaching Yahweh the Creator, and for 2 reasons. One, it was believed that Yah had ascribed or delegated certain levels of his power to the more visible physical world, especially the sun, moon, and stars, and the planets. It was delegated to these bodies to give certain lights and movements in the heavens. Therefore, it must be God's power, they assumed, being attributed to them. Maybe some worship great mountains or other physical features of the earth, rivers, trees, animals, a variety of things that they perceived held some level of the elemental powers of the Creator. Now, why even try to worship these? Well, man was originally in the Creator's presence in the Garden of Eden. Now he has been expelled. And since that point, man has only delved into greater, deeper levels of sin. Since Yah is so far removed from that and is ascribed to have such extreme set-apartness, he's not diluting his set-apartness for us to approach him. Therefore, man would have discerned it's impossible to reach him. So we will worship that which is close at hand and more accessible to us, that which contains the Creator's power, but at a more basic intermediary level. So various idols were invented or thought of to represent these various aspects of the Creator that could be worshiped and perceived. Secondly, as a priest of Midian, let's also remember who this man was. As a Midianite, he is a direct descendant of Abraham. Abraham, however, of the 6 sons of Keturah and Ishmael, he blessed them and sent them away, leaving his greatest possessions, his entire inheritance, if you will, to Yitzhak, to Isaac. All of these sons would have been circumcised and therefore introduced to the covenant. But the covenant's full level benefit was only given to Yitzhak and to his families. So the Midianites were those that were circumcised, marked for Elohim, blessed, and then separated and sent away. It very well may have been then understood among them, there is no benefit to us being circumcised. And there's really no benefit to us being a part of the covenant because we're not included. Sounds like another group of people that we might be very much aware of. The house of Israel likewise has been in an ancient past a part of this covenant. We have been circumcised, and yet we are not full benefactors of the inheritance as we are in exile and still scattered abroad in the earth. Why attain to any level of the Torah when it doesn't seem to benefit us? So Yitro shows up with Moshe's wife and sons, and Moshe takes him into the tent to begin to describe to him more fully the news events of Israel's deliverance that he has heard. Now, let's consider the name of Yitro and what it means for us. It is taken from the word yether, meaning remainder, excess, rest or the rest, and remnant. The root word yathar, left over, remain, that which remains left over and left behind. Again, the idea of the remnant. This leads me over to the book of Acts, and let's go to Acts chapter number 15, where Kepha has stood and began to encourage the Jerusalem council along a line of thought pertaining to those who are not traditionally or by bloodline Jewish. These are Gentiles who are hearing about the work of Yeshua, and they're wanting to know who he is. They're wanting to attend the local assembly, the local synagogue, and hear where Moshe is taught every Shabbat. Rav Shaul and Barnabas stand up and began to testify and give witness as to how effective it can be to share the Torah with these believing Gentiles and see their lives changed. And they quote from the book of Amos, and they say, quote, "After this I shall return and rebuild the booth of David which has fallen down, and I shall rebuild its ruins, and I shall set it up." Verse 17, "So that the remnant of mankind," not just the remnant of Yehuda or Israel, but the remnant of mankind, "shall seek Yahweh, even all the nations on whom my name has been called, says Yahweh, who is doing this." The remnant is mentioned here as being indicative of all mankind, not just those of the two houses, but indeed of all mankind. Now, it says the remnant there, but let's also consider a similar word that is found in the book of Joel, chapter number 2. And it says in verse 30 and following, "And I shall give signs in the heavens and upon the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun is turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yahweh." We recognize this as being quoted in Acts chapter 2. Verse 32, "And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For on Mount Sion and in Jerusalem there shall be an escape, as Yahweh says, and among the survivors." There's an encouraging word. The survivors whom Yahweh calls. Maybe we like to be called the remnant, but how do you like being called a survivor? A survivor of what? Of the last days. Now, you and I can get upset about that, and we can begin to panic a little bit, but let's understand this. When Yitro came out of the tent, and having heard these words, he received the reputation and the news of what Moshe had said with joy. Do you have joy in the Torah? If you remain or if you survive, Yah is calling us from the nations, whether we have a bloodline claim or not, any lineage claim or not. He is calling us from the nations and bringing us into his tent to reveal through the words of Moshe who he is and what he's wanting to do for his people. Yitro came out rejoicing. Have we lost the joy of the Torah? My friend, let's not get debative and divisive over it. Let's rejoice in it and have great joy in who we are before him. More on this tomorrow. Until then, shalom.